Let's give this another try starting the stream, and hopefully this time it will work. It probably will work. Yeah, it'll probably be called the right thing. Right, let me do a little social play. Hopping on Twitch tonight to stream some games. What games, you ask? I haven't yet decided. Thanks, ADHD. Come help me work out what to play. Twitch.tv/Laura K Buzz. There we go. That'll do. Hey, Gumba Master. How the devil are you? I'm just finishing setup. Oh, we got people starting to roll in. Hello, everyone. I don't know what to stream today. I gotta work out what to stream today. Oh, Gumba says I'm in the final parts of Metaphor. I have not had time to get nearly as far into Metaphor as I would like. I'm very much enjoying what I have had time to play. Are we being treated to James Sunderland? I don't know what we're being treated to today. Hey, Saint Nobody, thank you very much for the 44 months of sub. Good luck with all the busy stuff. Oh, it's busy stuff no matter where I put it. I'll be honest, if anything, my work being moved to like a few weeks from now does mean I have Metaphor Fantazio time this week, I guess. But yeah, I don't know what I'm streaming today. We are in the gap between things. I can't finish streaming Life is Strange yet. We finished Zelda. Can't do Dragon Age yet. And I was thinking we've got like 4 streams available in which we could maybe jump into some other stuff that I haven't played on stream that people are curious about or people want to know thoughts about. And this seemed like a good time for some maybe some one-off or two-off streams of a couple of things. Gumbo Master says it's weird. Close to 70 hours now, but it feels shorter than Persona. Persona tends to be like 90 to 120, depending on if you're doing like the base version or the your sort of Royale. But also, this is so much more like Metaphor is so much more direct and to the point that it feels less lengthy. I'm most of the way through Elden Ring DLC. There's literally less time on the calendar than Persona, but the time is spent directly proportional to how good you are at it. Yeah, so I'll tell you the 2 things I'm mulling between tonight. And let me know, chat, what you're in the mood for. Like, we can steer this stream depending on what people are in the mood for. Either, I think that this is what tonight's going to be. Either we stream the opening hours of Metaphor Fantazio for anyone curious about it. We play some of the opening of Metaphor Fantazio. Or, if anyone is curious about Silent Hill 2 and its accessibility settings and how Bloober Team managed to not fuck up this remake, we could have a look at the opening of Silent Hill 2. Either of those is on the table. I don't know what people are in the mood for. Hey, AJ, AJM. Saint Nobody says, I vote Psychonauts 2. I don't even know if you have it, that game rules. I own it. I don't have it installed at this moment. And anything that I would have to sit and download before I could start playing it, the ADHD is not gonna sit around for that tonight. I vote for Metaphor. Started Metaphor yesterday, holy shit. Soylent Hill is made up of people. Yeah, my gut says maybe we Metaphor. I'll hover on it for a minute and we'll decide if this is the night. I don't like that this piano music is the music when you sit on the game on the PS5 menu. I want it to be that battle theme sung in Esperanto where it's just that man being like, just really going at it in Esperanto. Bella Bean says not heard of it, Metaphor. You know what? I think it is Metaphor. Maybe we go for Metaphor tonight. I need to make more time to play this, and my schedule has just opened up in such a way I might have more time to play it this week. And playing it on stream tonight is going to get me back in the headspace of yes, I need to play more Metaphor. Yes, oh, oh child, we have such sights to show you. Give me one moment. I'm gonna update what we're playing on the thing. Let me update the stream title. Then let me update on which game we're doing. Sometimes the ADHD just requires someone else's presence for me to decide what I'm gonna do. Hey, Scrangle! I played 5 hours of the Metaphor Fantazio demo, and mysteriously $95 went missing out of my bank account. Yeah, that's the thing about that demo. Like, I spent, I think, nearly 7 hours in that demo because I went and did an optional dungeon in it before the demo ran out. And I was like, yeah, there's no world in which I don't pick this up, huh? Why is this music making me feel like I'm watching a Vatican stream? The music in this game is going to make you think it's going to make you feel a lot of things by the time we're done. Let's go. English. Yep, let's have English VO as well. Yeah, I'm gonna go for English. I really like the English dub on this. I think the English voice cast does a fantastic job. And I think it definitely makes the Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong account. That would be why I can't do the online features on this stream, but that's fine. Don't pirate the game, please. This game is about disrespecting authority, but please respect our authority. Please, we do not condone discrimination or violence towards real-world people, but also any attempts of violence against political leaders is ill-advised. Please don't do it. This is all fiction. Right. Ooh, Scrangle, that sounds cool. Can you send me like a social media post somewhere about that? Because I would like to check that out, but I will not remember in this moment the name of that game. Right. I have a very blue drink on stream tonight.
I trust this will suffice.
God smiles upon the generous.
So this is made by the Persona team.
Oh, away with you! Back to your cesspit.
But it's medieval fantasy discrimination, Game of Thrones-y Persona a little bit.
A land grotesque as its people. You dreamt of utopia. You saw the tribes united as one. Oh. That dream died long ago. You should have done the
Like,
same.
it tries very hard to not be Persona, but about an hour and a half in, it's gonna undeniably be really Persona, like, for a minute.
Your kingdom will perish alongside you.
So this is our blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fascist political leader that, you know, we could advocate for, trying to vote and use our votes to not let him get into power. But this game is going to argue that the best thing we could probably do is just assassinate the fucker.
In his own bed.
The blooms upon the prince's grave had yet to wilt. Without an heir to wear the crown, what will become of the royal magic?
Thus vulnerable.
It's Persona in the right ways. I'll get there in a second.
The state hangs on a precipice. It may even come to civil war.
In dark times, we must stand together.
Your Eminence.
Who could do this? Few
Yeah.
could even enter the king's chambers, let alone draw
The king has been killed, and now there's going to be a struggle for
His Majesty's
power.
arcane power could deflect near any blade. With all the royal bloodline's magic, who could harm him at all?
Shadows stir in the castle, just as they did with the prince. What hellbound soul could end a royal life? Who would dare such atrocity?
Who would dare such atrocities? In walks in this
A
bastard.
shame to die with no heirs. The prince was taken too soon. And only a king may wield the royal scepter. The very crux of his vaunted bloodline's magic, which made such a fine
Oh, what a
attempt.
shame there's not someone to step in and control the
One has to
military.
ask, them dead, who shall take the throne?
Oh, his heir is fabulous. But he is also, like, this man's entire deal is he would like to encourage discrimination, because discrimination makes it really easy to whip up people into, like, fear and terror and then sell yourself as the solution so that you can rise to power. He is, and I'm sure you can't think of any political figures this resembles in the real world, he is someone who stokes culture wars and, you know, points at minorities as being the evil problem with all the source of all the problems in society, so that he can sell himself as the solution and put himself in power as a fascist dictator. That's who he is. Hey, Midas Titus. Yeah, so someone asked if this is Persona in good ways or bad ways. It's more like, it's less open-ended with, like, you've got a billion different choices of what you could be doing at any time and panicking about micromanaging your real-world days. It's more, like, focused, but you do at one point have a mechanic that we'll see on today's stream where you rip your own heart out and your heart's made of metal and now you're a Warframe mech. It's got all that cool anime bullshit you associate with Persona, but just a little more focused. Right, such compelling fiction. Let's jump in, let's go. New game. But it's also, it's a story about, like, trying to understand how to overthrow fascism and tear down bigotry and discrimination. But it's also a story about stories, as we're going to open with here.
Who's there? I can feel you watching me from a place beyond my sight.
Yeah, so it's also a story about the fact that, like, stories about fighting oppression are really good at making you feel better when you live in a world with oppression. But a lot of them don't really do anything to push you to actually go out and fight against oppression yourself, rather than just imagine a world where things are better. And I think that is interesting.
Whoever you are, please tell me. Does our world pique your interest?
Your world does pique my
Pardon
interest.
Curiosity. But would you tell me your name? That is to say, tell me who you really are.
Me?
The one who meets my eyes across a strange threshold.
Who are you who shall guide the protagonist? So I'm not naming the protagonist, so I guess we'll go. Laura K. Buzz. Let's go with the classic, which I think there is enough space just about for. I always appreciate when I can just about wedge that in. Hey Zilla, thank you very much for the bits. What is a metaphor anyway? Well, a metaphor is when you're putting me on a mild side tangent here. My favourite story recently that is a metaphor, and it will remind you it's a metaphor, is Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, which starts by telling you, Rome, that was an empire that fell. America's a bit like that. Anyway, I wonder if the same could happen to those. Megalopolis, a fable. If you hadn't worked it out yet, it's a fable. Because you know a good fable has to tell you it's a fable.
Ah, a most unusual name. One I've never heard
Go
of.
back to the club. I fucking
It
hate
would
that
suggest
line.
to me you might reside in a world beyond ours. It is a curious thing that in your eyes, my entire world is but the dawn of a story yet untold.
Do you think your journalism experience entitles you to plough the depths of my Emersonian mind? I fucking hate how many Megalopolis quotes, despite how terrible that film is. It's got some really quotable lines that have stuck their way in my brain.
Or to put it another way, this is a fantasy. But can it truly be dismissed as something so far removed from you?
My favourite bit of Megalopolis that is definitely subtle satire is when Shia LaBeouf, the the Nazi Donald Trump analog wants political power, he's a bit of a fascist, literally has his fucking henchman literally has like a Nazi symbol tattooed on his forehead in case you didn't realize he was a Nazi, you see. And people don't really care. They'll still cheer for him despite clear Nazism, because you wouldn't have known he was a Nazi if he didn't have a fucking Nazi symbol tattooed on his fucking forehead.
If indeed you wish to cross to our world for a time, I would first ask that you indulge one question. Is fantasy limited to the confines of imagination? Would you call it a powerless
I don't
creation?
believe that imagination is that fantasy is a powerless creation. I would not write fiction if I didn't think I like writing fiction that I think can do something, and I want to believe that. I don't think it's always a powerless creation,
More than wishful thinking.
at least
More than
inherently.
fiction. Something capable of affecting the realities beyond its bounds. This must be what you believe. I confess, my own answer still eludes me. But consider, if fantasy is born from hope, a desire to make the world better than it is, then that hope can be made manifest. Thus does change come, and thus is fantasy forged into...
Yeah, but you have to actually do the work of turning fantasy into reality. You can't just go, that was good fantasy, I feel less bad about reality now.
I'm thoroughly invested now myself.
Thimba says, apparently now Twitter will have rights to your content that you post on Twitter to use for AI training. Yep, that's why basically every artist exodused Twitter a couple of days ago and moved to Blue Sky. And I'll tell you this, as someone who's been on Blue Sky for a while, and was looking for a sign that, like, the big exodus had finally happened, I went from 4,000 to 6,000 followers in under 24 hours. Like, all of the, like, game industry people and artists, like, those two groups have, like, really made the leap over to Blue Sky in the last, like, 48 hours.
So,
Normal's fine. I won't suck that bad on stream. How's Mastodon doing? Mastodon really missed its chance to succeed. As soon as you had to explain to people what federated servers
Looks
were,
like we're in the clear.
they really
The capital's just through this desert.
didn't have a good sales pitch for their own
The king is
platform.
dead. Aye, and the guards are more concerned with the funeral than keeping the roads safe. So now the monsters are roaming in broad daylight. No soldiers to stop them.
Monsters, huh? I've certainly been hearing the stories.
To say nothing of the vacant throne. There's a storm coming. Mark my words. That much is certain.
I'm in a few of those starter packs on Blue Sky. It has really helped
What's the problem?
with traction. Yeah, how far have I gotten into this? In my personal playthrough, like 40 hours. We're like 5 minutes in on stream today.
Us folk, we're commoners. No crown or church will save us.
But Lord Luis will save us one and all. All we ask is little tribute. You're with us or against us? And if you're against us...
I love that the JRPG designers have decided that Britain is medieval fantasy magic land is Britain. You give us British voices.
How thick were those?
Yeah, I need to find time to play more of this. It's just work. Work keeps getting in the way.
That's right.
But I'm hoping for Metaphor Fantazio time again this week.
Huh?
We'll see.
Look at you. What have we got here? He's an elder. So he is.
He's got what?
No horns, no knife.
He got no pointy ears and no horns. He's only got stupid aerochromia. Boring as hell.
Oh.
He is.
What's this? Looks like you've been holding out on us, boy.
No, don't take my bedtime story. Oh, this game has like... I've been hearing people say like 60 to 70 hours for this, which sounds about right from what I've seen.
Should have listened to us, chum.
Yeah, I want to know about the who animated these scenes. Like, the animation's lovely.
Now fall in line. Let's want to get stuck like us.
Oh, you fucked up.
you drew steel. I take it you are prepared to die by it.
Ooh.
Stand aside!
Give me my book! Oh no, fuck. It's fine, it's almost time for gameplay, don't worry. Or at least running away from gameplay. We until we get to the combat tutorial, we've got no weapons, we gotta go have a run about.
Ugh, this place already feels like a death trap. You hear all that stuff about Lord Luis saving
Lord
us?
Luis.
Hey, you okay?
Oh,
got all
I
the
have to
rooms
show
attached?
you a stupid little thing I have now that finally arrived after several months in the post. I have a Philips CDI controller for the Nintendo Switch / PC from RZ in the Jewel of Faramore, alongside some silly little collector's edition-y bits. I have some very silly little arty bits for that game, but that knockoff Philips CDI controller, it's a thing of beauty. I love it very much.
Well, at least they didn't figure out our mission. Definitely could have gone worse.
What mission?
What mission?
Come on. This is no time
I
for
hit my head
jokes.
pretty hard. I fell
You
off a
do know that
cliff.
if anyone finds out who we really are, it's all over, right? The mission's more important than either of our lives. If we screw this up, there's no going back.
Yeah, to the conversations of like
People make
people leaving Twitter and heading to Blue Sky, I'll say this. I'd been looking for an excuse to make Blue Sky my primary place I post over Twitter, despite like Twitter being the place I have the most followers. The timing was pretty perfect of the mass exodus of games industry people and artists happening. Because if nothing else, it's lined up with, how do I put this? In the not too distant future, I've got some cool shit to share that certain angry parts of the internet are not gonna like. And if I could just like share that on Blue Sky and not even bother with sharing it on Twitter, that would be lovely. And timing might just line up that way. Are we calling the main character Jonathan? No. I'll tell you when we get there what we're calling the main character, but it's gonna be a dig at a different game. I'm gonna kind of slag off a different game in my choice of protagonist naming. Okay, we've got to find somewhere where we can see the area. So we can run around with R2, dodge with circle, follow the minimap.
Let's go. Stop!
Don't move! There's monsters, and we are unweaponed.
Watch out!
Oh, I don't doubt I would be happy without social media, but I'm still at the point where social media is where most of my work comes from, unfortunately, you know, and I gotta live with that reality. It is what it is.
Hurry!
Okay, let's get running. I want to get to the bit where I have combat. I want to show you all the cool combat music and fun fights. Not an ominous city design at all.
Just checking, but you do remember what we're here to do.
Not at all. I have no idea what's the mission?
Right. What am I doing again?
Oh, I don't know. The mission that's more important than our own lives?
Ew, fine.
First, we get to the royal capital and get you enlisted as a guardsman at the army's recruitment center. This could decide the fate of the whole country. We either do our jobs or we die.
Ooh.
And if it's all the same to you, I'd rather stay alive. So we've got to see this mission through.
I guess I agree with you.
We don't want the sun to go down on us in the wastes. You know what they say. Anxiety breeds the world's cruelest monsters. I mean, fairies say
Anxiety
that, right?
breeds
I
the
can't
world's
stop my
cruelest
usual self for you.
monsters.
It's small comforts.
I hadn't really thought about that sentence, but I want to stop and soak that in it. Apparently an old fairy saying in this world. Anxiety breeds the cruelest monsters. In the context of this being a game about, like, the common person's fears being fears of minority groups they don't know or understand being weaponized against them to make them willing to side with a fascist, That's a really good turn of phrase. Anxiety breeds the cruelest monsters. There's a lot of acts of cruelty that come out of, I'm scared, I've been pointing at you, I'll be cruel at you, because, yeah, that is interesting.
Right.
It's as though music is playing directly in my mind. The effect of Gallica's magic is inspiring. This game's soundtrack isn't really happening. It's all being played in our head by the fairy.
Music was the first magic this world ever knew, after all.
I fucking love that. Stupid little bit of world building, but I love that the music is just... the fairy is being our iPod.
Look! Over there!
Okay, we're just gonna follow the road, go join the army. There should be no trouble, right? I am gonna go and pick these items up. I love when the soundtrack is actually happening in-game. Yeah, Chai in, oh, what was that game even called? The music rhythm beat 'em up, game from Tango Gameworks. That it was canonically the music from his iPod we were hearing the whole time. I'm a big fan of the music. There's a reason the music's playing. Hi-Fi Rush, yes. Also, I don't hate the mix of 3D and 2D for the monsters versus the people.
Three nations, all blessed by the power of magic.
Oh yeah, we can talk about Esperanto in a minute.
Of Uchronia. The year is 785. Uchronia is shaken to the core by the sudden death of its king. Anxiety breeds dissent among the tribes. Disparities tear them apart, and no mortal mind remembers the heroic tales upon which their land was built. By this story of fantasy, may this faded world be painted anew.
So yeah, let's talk about the chanting in the battle music you hear. It is a real language. It's called Esperanto, but it's a language that no one speaks. But I want to talk about like what Esperanto is and why it's so interesting to this game's design. Esperanto was, and correct me in chat if I'm wrong on any of this, but my understanding is Esperanto is a language that was developed by the United Nations as an attempt to create a universal second language. The idea was that no matter what country you grew up in, maybe Esperanto would be everyone's second language, and everyone would have a language in common. Now, Esperanto never caught on. There's a couple of reasons why. A, there are no native speakers of Esperanto. For a language to really survive, you need native speakers, because you need people who are confident enough in the language and using it all the time that other people have a reason to learn it and a way to immerse themselves in it. But it also failed in as much as the goal of the language of Esperanto was to create a language that could like lessen division and like hatred between nations by giving them a common tongue. But the problem is Esperanto is not a language based, it's not built equally on foundations of all the world's languages. It's really built on the roots of a lot of European languages. And that sort of inherently shows you the issues with Esperanto right from the start. Is it was going to be easier for certain countries to learn than others. It showed more of a respect for the linguistic roots of some countries than others. And it was never going to be this unifying language in the way it needed to be, because it wasn't built on a foundation of truly being a language that would be equally easy or difficult for basically everyone to learn, that everyone would be sort of in it together. And it just never caught on. I love that thematically for a game about... It's way trickier than you think it is to dismantle systems of oppression and reduce bigotry and discrimination. To have the battle theme music be in a language that was a kind of ham-fisted attempt at reducing discrimination globally, but didn't really work because it kind of didn't think through the complexities of what it was trying to achieve, is really, really, like, you can see why that's a really, like, deliberate choice these developers have made. Yeah, a constructed language or a conlag, not an artificial language. That's the thing. It was constructed mostly out of European languages, but they were trying to sell it as a global language. Yeah, even the name Esperanto has clear phonetic roots in Romance languages. Yeah, it was trying to be a global language without thinking through the realities of what it would actually need to do to be a global language people would pick up on. It serves as you point out, a really good metaphor. Sorry, it wasn't created by the League of Nations. It was the 19th century by a Polish chap. There are some native speakers, but not many. Well, no, there's not any native speakers. There's no one for whom it is their first language. There are potentially fluent speakers. There's not many fluent speakers, but there are technically some fluent speakers, largely like linguistic nerds. There are no native speakers. There are no people for whom that is the language they automatically think in, that is their first language. And the problem with that is that without having native speakers, like, you can have someone who is textbook fluent, but a language doesn't evolve with, like, the changing needs of the times if there aren't native speakers. But yeah, yes, I think look, for some of my specifics might not have been perfect there, but the gist, I think, is right, and like, it's such a good subtle touch to have all of that singing in Esperanto. It tells me this game's developers knew the challenge that they were coming up against with what they were talking about narratively. According to Wikipedia, there are native speakers. I would love to know how. I would love to understand what that is. Anyway.
Lying dog! Don't try to deny it! You trample the law for the fun of it!
Yep, we are in a world where
For misuse of an igniter,
cat boys are discriminated against. People will cheer for the public execution of cat boys. You know this is a bad, fucked up world.
There's no way that crowd was going to listen to anything a Paribus said.
Such a shame. Might you spare some coin?
They were okay. There are people who were raised to speak Esperanto as their first language. Huh. Okay. Interesting. I don't think it erases my overall point that, like, it's not a language that the average person who wants to learn Esperanto can go travel to a place and be immersed in the language. I think my fundamental point exists. But hey, look at this. Look at this game not shying away from discrimination. Person who has access to wealth comes to a new city, sees homeless people from a discriminated against background, you know, asking for money, and goes, "Hey, I have money. I do not need. I will help those more in a worse position than myself." And this fairy has gone, "No, stop helping those people out by giving them money. Follow me. Come with me."
Any street smarts? Come on, kid.
Don't you have any street smarts as an excuse not to help people more disenfranchised than yourself?
Focused.
Right.
You noticed back on the wagon? You might be the only elder here, in the whole city even. Capital's incredible. Just look at all the different tribes. You never see this kind of diversity out in the countryside.
The capital's incredible. Just look at all the different tribes. You never see this kind of diversity out in the countryside. I love this as a first introduction to the capital, because very quickly you see that the capital is built on discrimination. Like, technically, in terms of, like, there are people of different backgrounds here, but that in and of itself doesn't mean a place is diverse in the sense that, like, there is the kind of integration and lack of bigotry that a place needs to actually be to be as diverse as it seems, if that makes sense. Here we go.
Well, Not that it's very balanced. I see more Clamars and Roussants than anyone else. Which means a dopey Elder kid's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Try to keep your head down.
Yep, the social hierarchy is already developing.
Hey, did you hear what they're saying about His Majesty?
His Majesty?
They say it wasn't illness at all. I heard it was foul play. Assassination.
Assassination?
Shh, careful who hears you say that. But it's just like the prince, isn't it? They say he was attacked in the dead of night. A war of succession is coming, I tell you.
Sounds like monsters have been prowling the countryside. They're sending a guard out to deal with them. The army's really gone to hell. It's a far cry from when we had Count Luis at the helm, I'll tell you that much.
Hard to see how the nation can come back from this.
We'd not have to ask if the prince was still alive.
We wouldn't have to ask how to make the country a better place if the status quo were maintained.
His son stricken. Are there none left to bear the weight of the crown?
We've done all in our power, but not even the kingdom's best, the saint, could purify this affliction.
Over 10 years he has languished under this curse. How much longer can his body hold out? No doubt His Highness would protest. But since he cannot, we have no choice. For the man who cursed His Highness and murdered our king, there can be no mercy. I never thought I would have to ask this of you. But there are so few of us left now. There is no one else to turn to. Will you infiltrate the military to deliver a message to our contact there? This is your mission. For all our sakes.
Yep, I'm gonna go infiltrate the military to go do a mission to maybe save my boyfriend, the prince.
Hey, are you listening? Well,
I was remembering the plot.
I can't blame you for feeling nostalgic. Anyway, getting to the capital was only the beginning. Now comes the real high-stakes part. You gotta go get enlisted, so you can meet up with our operative. Remember, nobody here knows who we are. Nobody here knows the prince might still have a claim to the throne. That means if we get busted...
Have a good night, BT.
Nobody's gonna save us. Step 1. Let's figure out where the recruitment center is. Shouldn't be too hard, considering the need for soldiers.
Trust me, a city with social inequality targeting specific minority groups, it won't be hard to find an army recruitment center.
Whatever will I do?
An elder?
Oh, time to meet one of my favorite designed characters from the early game.
Look at that. The new model's out now. I could be out there slinging spells like a master if I had one of those.
Magic jewelry. This is how the magic system works. You have a piece of jewelry, it has spells loaded in it, you can do those spells.
Everyone and their mother has a magic igniter. So many different types, too.
Now I want one for myself.
Yeah, until you see the price tag. Can't imagine what it's like having to wave around some shiny stick to use magic. Me? I can whip out magic anytime I like. And I can even see the Magla in the air. Though, I'm not exactly an archmage.
Wonders never cease. A fairy and an elden child. Are you new to our fair city?
Love this design.
Well, I suggest you keep a low profile. Trust me when I say we don't want to catch the eyes of the lords and ladies.
I do. I want to catch the eyes of them.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. I run this humble shop. Are you in the market for an igniter?
I don't have that kind of money,
Here's
miss.
something that might catch a foreigner's eye. This is modelled after the royal scepter and would make the perfect souvenir.
I wish I had the kind of cash to buy that kind of opulent magic wand.
The royal...
Can I buy a fucking magic trident, miss?
Wow.
A symbol and instrument of the crown's sovereignty. Passed down through generations. If you believe the legends, it houses incredible magic. World-shattering power.
Oh, Steel, I did back in the day review Alien Isolation. I feel more positive about it, in terms of that monster design. I don't know how much of that is to do with the fact I didn't binge it in a single session. I came back and played it in like 2-3 hour chunks, and I think that worked quite well for that game. I can see someone coming away with that kind of impression. I personally really enjoyed it.
More practically, you might call it the world's most potent magic igniter. And in the king's hands, it was enough of a deterrent.
The royal scepter to me is like, it's the fucking... It's the briefcase. It's the nuke briefcase. It's the magical object powerful enough to stave off war. Like, no one wants me to hit the big button.
I don't know why you're here, but there's trouble brewing.
I'll keep that in mind.
A word of caution then. Your survival is your own responsibility.
Well, that was unnecessarily ominous. Anyway, we don't have time to hang around chatting with the locals.
Let's head there.
Let's go get recruited to the army. A sentence I will never say outside of this context.
All right.
Okay. Off to the recruitment center.
I'm out of ideas.
I believe it's just here at the corner.
That must be the recruitment center. I'll let you take it from here. Oh, and if they start asking questions, just be as honest as you can. Lying will only make us more suspicious. So long as you don't compromise the mission, you're fine. Good luck in there.
Tell the truth, just don't tell too much of the truth. It'll be fine.
Okay, you got this.
A blue blood, are you? The army's no place for velvet-swaddled lordlings. Why are you here? Perhaps your noble family collapsed under its own weight. Is that it?
Lineage seems a strange measure for a soldier's worth. I'm looking to enlist. Is that enough for you or not?
An uppity one, aren't you? Fine, lordling. Welcome to the Guard, where it'll be your privilege to die screaming and bloody in service of your country. But mark my words, war will turn your arrogance to piss. When your corpse is plucked from the mud, do try to look
When your corpse is plucked from the mud, do try to look patriotic.
Words, Captain. You think threats will buy loyalty? No wonder nobody respects the Guard anymore. But I'm here now, so perhaps the kingdom isn't a lost cause.
Insolent pup! You will learn your place.
Don't. The healers have enough on their plates already.
Be gone, and be thankful you're still in one piece. All right, next.
Hello, it's my turn.
An elder? I thought your kind was long gone.
No, we're still here.
18. An orphan, too. The army can always use more of those.
An orphan too. The army can always use more of those. People who you can throw into the bloodbath of the front lines, and no one's gonna miss them, and no one's gonna complain that you didn't take proper care of them. The army fucking loves a good orphan.
So, what brings you to enlist?
I want to fight for change.
I want to fight for real change.
Lofty words for a gutter rat with an empty coin purse, no? So, what can you bring to our beloved corps? Any skills to speak of?
So, depending on what choice we make here, our starting stats are different. Do we want increased strength, magic, defense, agility, or luck to start with? I'm going to say magic. I think starting with some additional magic points would be worthwhile.
Yes, you and every unschooled troglodyte. Right, last order of business. Make your mark or sign your name if you're actually literate.
Enter the name of the story's protagonist. Now, I'm going to be naming this protagonist... I've started typing the name. Let me tell you why I'm naming them this before I get to the name. There was a game last year, I think it was, that was not nearly as deft at trying to be a JRPG about you playing as a member of an oppressed minority group fighting for liberation in a sort of medieval fantasy setting. That was Final Fantasy XVI, a game that took that subject and hit it over the head with a blunt object, rather than any kind of finesse. The main character of that game was called Clive. We're calling our protagonist Clive. Because from everything I've played of this, it's all the themes that Final Fantasy XVI wanted to do, but much better explored. Hello, it's me, Clive. Hero of the oppressed and downtrodden. Yeah, Final Fantasy XVI with Clive.
Welcome to the guard.
You played as a member of, like, the people in that world who have magic were the slave class, and the whole point was, like, none of the slaves had ever thought maybe the fact we have very strong magic would allow us to, you know, overthrow our oppressors. It was a weird game.
Yes!
I'm sure you heard about the monster sighting, so stay sharp out there. We're short-handed as it is, so be a good lad and try not to get killed on your first deployment. You can pick up your kit at reception. Standard issue guardsman armor and igniter. Kingdom property. So if you break it, it's coming out of your commission. On your way now. Up to. Next.
Let's join the queue to go be in the army.
I hope they get exciting.
I didn't hate 16, it was just...
You think that's why we're low on soldiers? Wish they'd have told us that. What do they call them? Something like, human...
If that hint didn't give it away for you, the big giant monsters out in the world we're going to go fight are called humans. Because this game is a metaphor, Fantazio, you see. A metaphor regarding fantasy.
An elder?
Metaphor
First
Fantazio.
of your kind I've seen.
Move it. There's a priority around here. We're arming squires and children with igniters now. Wasted good gear. It's better off in my hands. Give it here.
Brute force. Crude insults. The world is yours for the taking.
Care to say that again, boy?
We all have our reasons to enlist. Now get back in line.
Now, look. I'm usually a bit skeptical of this archetype, but I do think that this character we're about to meet pulls it off pretty well. Is member of the social majority group, the highest class of society, these sort of folks with the horns. He uses that position to be like, no, I may personally have fallen on hard times, but I recognize that I'm higher up in the social standing than you, and I'm going to use that to tell you to be less of a bigot to that guy. You will respect me when I tell you not to be a bigot. You might pay attention and listen. And I am aware of that social dynamic and will, you know, act upon it. It can be really awkward if done poorly, but I do like it from this guy.
Oh, another high and mighty Clamar, is it? You think your pretty words will measure up to pure Rousseau strength?
Oh, forget the tribes. This is a matter of pride. Now...
This game's pretty fucking woke, if I'm honest.
Come on, no fighting in the ranks.
Sorry for making a scene. You alright?
You have to be a member of a fairly privileged group of society to protect someone from getting hate crimed and then go, I'm terribly sorry for making a scene. Like, you got a guy to stop being a racist dick to me. Thank you.
Thanks. You didn't have to do that.
Just felt like stepping in. Don't worry about it. Well, see you around. Try not to die out there.
Don't make my job any harder, please. Here, your igniter. These days, most come with their own magna crystals. So with practice, anyone can use magic. To an extent, anyway. It's not the sort of thing you can master in a day. For now, newbies like you best focus on surviving.
Yeah, lots of different kinds of magic jewellery.
Protect it with your life.
Oh, this is one of my favourite bits of the stupid world building early on. Protect it with your life. It is a paper parchment map of the outer world.
That's a real map. It's dangerous to even chart the wilds, but this is full of details. Only the military could pull this together.
Information is power, and when only the military have the ability to properly map the world around you, you can see how this is a world in which it would be fairly easy for a right-wing dictator type to mislead people about, you know, oh, the barbarism going on out in the rest of the world and the terrible things these tribes do. Would be easy to do in a world where to even have a map of the world around your city is like really only the military have that. It would be so easy to convince you that people you don't see around here very often from places outside of here do weird evil shit you don't know about.
Listen up, striplings. My name is Captain Klinger, and as of this moment, you miserable lot are under my command. I'm sure you've all heard about our forces being tied up with the funeral proceedings for His Majesty. But if you think you're on cushy security detail, think again. First, you will be deployed to a fortress at the northern border, where you will be trained into true guards. Our veterans there will teach you the one thing you need to master if you're to survive. Pain.
Perfect. That's exactly where our contacts hold up.
Enjoy tonight's sleep, because it's the last full night's rest you'll get. Dismissed!
Oh, interesting things. I got into that Nintendo Switch Online playtest that's going on starting later this week.
You awake?
Oh, accidentally skipped that dialogue. My apologies, I was trying to hit pause. I can't tell you what that playtest is about, or I'm not supposed to. Nintendo doesn't want me to tell you what that playtest is about. But the details are out there, and they're not hard to find, as to what that playtest starting later this week is going to be about. For any of you who haven't given it a Google and gone, hey, what's that NSO playtest? What are the specifics? Super fucking fascinating. Real weird, unexpected shit from Nintendo again. Very curious stuff they're up to. You're all welcome to discuss the specifics in chat. I can't tell you or confirm anything that you might find elsewhere on the internet. I don't know why Nintendo's trying to be secretive about it. The shit's gonna get out there real quick anyway, but fascinating stuff they're working on.
Yeah, I'm awake.
Sorry to bug you. Look, I just have a lot on my mind. Can't seem to fall asleep. I'd heard about what it was like in the capital, but still. When you hear and see all this prejudice out in the open, it's a lot. You okay?
It never gets easier.
Yeah, I could tell. Try to put it behind you, okay? Some people are even saying it's the lesser tribe's fault that the monsters are showing up at all.
Crime and violence happening is the fault of lesser tribes. This game is a metaphor, you see, regarding Fantazio.
These are the same kind of people who burned down your village, remember?
I'd rather not think about it.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. I'll drop it. The prince was kind to take you in. He cared more about who you were than what you were. I can see why you'd want to repay him. Oh, speaking of, he's the one who gave you that book, right?
So yeah, let's look at the book, the Fantasy and Metaphor Fantazio.
Sure, I guess.
I gotta say, I've been curious. Thanks. It's what you call a fantasy story, right? So it's a fantasy world made up by the author. The prince loved those kinds of stories.
And with the skyscrapers and the bright lights and the cars, it's definitely not our real world. They're not reading a story about us much like we're playing a story about them. Definitely not. That would be too much of a metaphor, Fantazio.
Okay, let's see. It says the young traveler was amazed
I
by
can
the
try
work he
changing
saw.
the language when I get a chance to Japanese if you want to hear the Japanese audio.
In this world, there is only one tribe. All people accept each other, and no soul is born into discrimination.
In this world, there's no people with pointy ears or horns or heterochromia eyes going on. It's all just humans, and because they don't have like the pointy ears and the horns and the heterochromia to separate themselves from each other, everyone just accepts each other and there's no discrimination. Because without the things that this game's people discriminate each other over, without those things, surely it would be a utopia and no one would have a reason to discriminate.
Wow. So not even any fairies? I guess less differences means less to argue over. In such a world, there is no need for sorcery. A megapolis is built through learning and labor.
A megapolis, not to be confused with a megalopolis, which is also a fable/metaphor.
Towers of glass that reach the heavens. Safe nights with no dark shadows. Busy streets well traveled.
Saint Nobody says, all the best metaphors start with a warning how you shouldn't apply the morals of the metaphor outside of the context of said metaphor. Look, if I was a betting woman, I would say I don't think that warning existed in this game, let's say 4 months ago. And I would probably posit that 2 attempts at assassinating a former president in back-to-back succession probably necessitated this game, whose opening act is about trying to assassinate a political figure who you could probably draw some parallels between his politics and a real-world figure's politics, might have necessitated, we're gonna tell you that the right thing to do is to just go assassinate that fucker, but, like, don't apply that to the outside world. Please. We don't want to be mentioned in your manifesto. Yeah, I know some humans have heterochromia. I'm sort of playing with the fiction of the space. Saracen, thank you very much. That's very lovely. I don't have it up here. It's down in my living room at the moment, but I want a thing. Yay.
And in the laws of these emotionally satisfied people, it reads, all lives are equal.
You hear that, everyone? We are emotionally satisfied people in our world who think that all lives are equal. I'm sure that is across the board how everyone feels on Earth today.
Oh, I see. No magic, no tribal conflict, and equality for all? It really does sound like a fantasy. But it's strange to feel envious of a fictional world.
Hey, are you asleep already? You know how hard it is for me to turn these pages on my own?
Well, guess I'll just read more later. Good night.
Welcome. Now we've introduced you to both the metaphor and the fantasy. We can now apply the metaphor Fantazio. Yeah, Scrangle3D says, oh, I want to live in the Christmas card that is her mind. Yeah, like, I think the game is pretty clear pretty early on that, like, its sort of opening thesis statement is, it's really easy to imagine a world in which a couple of things that currently separate us and are the basis of discrimination, where those differences don't exist, where everyone just is very uniform, and as a result, discrimination is magically fixed, and everything is lovely and wonderful. And I think the point it's trying to do by looking at our world as the fantasy for this universe is to go, for them, it's very reasonable to imagine that if the world was like our world, discrimination wouldn't exist anymore. Much like we in our world come up with fictional utopias and imagine a couple of differences and now there's no bigotry or discrimination. But in reality, those kind of stories often overlook quite how ingrained it is in some people to find reasons to be bigots. Yeah. Oh, Basin is back. It's been lovely to have you. Have a good evening. Yeah, like, I'm definitely not going to stream this whole game, but I did want to do at least a stream of this, because even these opening hours, there's so many interesting things to start picking at.
Shouldn't you be resting? I'm fine. In fact, I'm glad we have this chance to talk. I've been reading, and I hope that someday we can make our kingdom like the place in this book. You said it was some kind of fantasy novel, didn't you? Our lives are decided at birth. By tribal purity, or by the differences that make us who we are. I don't want that to be the world we live in.
Agreed.
The Elder here are a perfect example. If you'd not sheltered me, I would never have survived.
This is an admirable...
And yet...
It's an admirable base belief for this prince to have.
Down.
On paper, I would want a ruling figure to believe this.
And no one should have to suffer so. Someone needs to fix... You okay?
But do you have a plan to get us there, Prince, is kind of the question.
Don't push yourself
Beyond,
so hard.
I think the world
Reality
shouldn't
is
be
much
bigoted.
too cruel. I know that. But I'll fight it. I'll fight to the end. I'm a prince. But I need to be a hero. One worthy of the throne. A hero? One who can lead. A beacon who will pierce the darkness when all seems lost.
You cannot simply... Yeah.
In his stories.
You cannot
the kingdom
simply
was full
rule,
of
you have to
legendary
actually
heroes.
lead people to
So I
that
can't give up.
future.
In my ideal world, people can believe in their future.
Yeah, I believe the king is
Our birth
Clemar,
doesn't
the ones
matter.
with the horns, yeah.
Not that I expect it will be easy.
Most
I
of the
believe in
political
you.
rulers in this nation's history have been Clemar.
Familiar words. When I'm down, when I struggle, you're always there to help me through it. Let's do it. You'll be a hero. Trust me.
I don't think it's a mistake that this is the first Atlas game in a while where you cannot romance a woman. These two are too cute. They're too cute together. We're gonna hold.
I won't give up either.
We're gonna hold the prince's book close and try and make that world happen for him. Alright, time for us to go be soldiers. Oh, my desire to play Dragon Age is only increasing. It seems like review copies have gone out. Achievement trackers are starting to track people unlocking achievements. I'm like, oh, there's copies out there. I want one. I could have a copy, please. I could play a Dragon Age. Okay, no matter how far we've come, let's find the destination. Right, yeah.
Hey,
head to the
don't
northern
forget.
border fort.
Okay then.
For our big mission.
The carriage transporting the new recruits arrives.
The prince trapped in the thorn curse is such a good aesthetic for the passing of time on the calendar. Like, I'm sorry, Prince, that you're trapped in thorns. That's terribly sad.
The towering fortress was
It makes for such a good aesthetic.
in the mountains at the edge of the territory. Even now, soldiers are sent there for its strategic importance to the royal capital and to combat the rising waves of monsters. Fresh-faced soldiers disembark from their coaches at the foot of a steep ascent to the fort.
Oh, finally. Can hardly feel my legs.
Listen well, you lackwits. The battlefield is no place to sit on your asses, and the border front is always a battlefield. The call to arms could sound at any time.
Oh, I have to tell you about more Nintendo-related bullshit that happened today that I don't know if you'll all be aware of. There's been a huge leak of Pokemon Company information over the past couple of weeks that has been slowly happening, and I'm not going to talk about any of the stuff to do with like leaked like game builds that are out there and stuff like that, but I will talk about this one. we might have some new insight as to why Nintendo and why the Pokemon Company was so pissed off about the existence of Palworld. And here's the answer. One of the things leaked from Pokemon that's now out there is concept art and like design documents for a game that Pokemon was working on that you could have described as Pokemon but with guns. Now granted, this is the Pokemon Company, they would have been paintball guns, it was a sort of Splatoon-esque video game, but there is leaked documents that seem to suggest Nintendo was working on Pokemon but with guns, brackets paint guns, and then Palworld got announced, and the Pokemon Company had to do a pivot and go, fuck, if we announce this now, people are going to say you're copying Palworld, you saw Palworld and decided you'd also do Pokemon with guns. They got beaten to the post. Palworld did Pokemon with guns while Pokemon was developing Pokemon with guns, and it seems like they might have had to cancel their Pokemon with guns because Palworld happened, and that might be a little bit of why they're a bit pissed off at Palworld. I find that so amusing.
Stand to, curs. You have the honor to serve at the command of Captain Klinger, war hero, tactician, master of arms.
I don't know if I can show you screenshots or if I'll get in trouble for showing, but there are images of it doing the rounds.
Spare us this drivel. Say, friend, I'm curious. What is it about that book that's captivated you?
Oh, what book? A world with only one tribe. Yeah, I can probably show you an image I can very quickly bring it on screen and then take it away. Let me see what I can find.
A world united as one tribe.
No discrimination, eh? A far cry from our world, then. So it's describing a better world. A utopia, perhaps. I'm something of a reader myself, but that's not like any book I've read. You know, when the late king took the throne, he was quite the idealist himself. He made grand claims about unifying the people under his rule.
Thimba, Pokemon had been developing Pokemon with guns, brackets paintball guns, and then Palworld got announced, and Pokemon had to maybe had to cancel their Pokemon with guns, so people didn't accuse them of ripping off Palworld. Very quickly, here is an image, and you will see it for a few seconds. There's a paintball gun with the Smeargle stuff on it and main character design, and we're going to get rid of that before Nintendo's ninjas come and shout. But there's other art, there's like 3D models of like how certain in-game things would have worked, and like little snippets of like test gameplay footage. Yeah.
Never managed to do it in the end, of course. Reform takes more than high-minded, eloquent speeches. Maybe he was too blind to see that himself.
The king really liked fantasy stories about utopian worlds without discrimination and dreamed of having one, but reform takes more than high-minded, eloquent speeches. Maybe he was too blind to see that himself. You can't just say you want the world to be a better place as a left-wing political figure. You have to do something about it.
Listen to you. A babe with his first sword thinking he knows better than a king. Keep your mouth shut. No one cares what you think.
Nobody asked you.
Something to say? Go on. I'm listening.
I apologize for him.
See? Take a cue from your friend in the lesser tribe. Well, Clamar, I'll let it go this time. But only because I like your friend. Next time, keep your complaining to yourself.
That's the last thing I need. Though I suppose I deserved it in part, speaking ill of the dead and all. My mouth tends to get ahead of my thoughts sometimes. Although, I'm glad a bad habit seems to have drawn us together. Oh, never got round to an introduction. I'm Stroll. Leon Stroll, son of the Count of Harlia. And you are?
I love Stroll. Stroll is wonderful. He's such a good character. I do love him. Who are you? I can't tell you. No, I'm Clive.
That's my name.
I'm not going to be suspicious.
I have that right. It's got a certain weight to it. For what it's worth, my title doesn't mean much. Here and now, we're peers and equals.
By the skin of my teeth! Now, where was I? Right, as for you, fresh meat.
Gumbo Master said, to be fair, the king did lose heart. He thought his son died. I mean, yeah, but surely that's all the more reason to, Oh, I keep doing this. I keep accidentally skipping while trying to pause to talk to chat. There was a big scream from the castle. We gotta run, see what happened, go save the troops. That's basically what happened. I apologize. I've been playing other things this week for work where pauses cutscenes, and muscle memory is hard to shift. I'm Alex C. Thank you very much for the Prime sub. Good evening. I hope you're doing well. Yes, Gumbo Master said, to be fair, the king lost heart. He thought his son died. He thought his son was assassinated by a right-wing political figure. Surely that should have made him more eager to actually put things into practice to change the world to be a better place than the one that his son was lost in. Like, his son was like a victim of an assassination attempt in the royal chambers. Surely that should push you to do more change with your position of authority and not stagnate, right? You would hope.
It's hard to explain, but it's like there's a stench in the air, and it's getting stronger.
Hey, did something happen? Wait, is that a fairy? Did you catch it yourself?
Yep, just over there. No. I see no fairy. What do you want about, sir?
Yes, and I have a name, by the way. It's Gallica.
So you travel together? You've stayed well hidden for quite a while.
Incompetent Hero says, to be fair, he was an immobile husk of a man that seems desiccated. He didn't look fit for the job whatsoever. First of all, his son has been in a coma for like 10 years. I'm sure he wasn't as much of an immobile husk 10 years ago as he was today. Second of all, if you saw me in the middle of the night, I would probably have looked about the same as him. Like, if you woke me up to kill me at 2 a.m., I'd be about that level of seeming on death's door. But 3, you're not wrong. But again, maybe we, have term limits and we don't let people, we don't have lifetime appointments to political office. Because maybe making someone a lifetime appointment means that they will serve long beyond the point where they're actually capable of serving. Cough, cough, Ruth. No, we're talking about metaphor. We're not talking about politics. No, we're not talking about politics. We're talking about metaphor Fantazio, a game not about real-world politics. Definitely not a metaphor. But yes, he did look fit for office, and yeah, just because he thought the right things, maybe he wasn't, he should have been replaced. Like, even if his son couldn't replace him, maybe he should have just voluntarily stepped down and let someone else in,
Well, I didn't want anyone making a fuss.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. It's called metaphor, not allegory. It's not an allegory.
You gotta be careful.
Agreed. I'll follow orders, but I'm not about to let this armchair general send me to my death. Let's take a moment, then head in once we're prepared. I assume you know how to use an igniter properly?
I'm not so sure. He's never used one before. I mean, he's a commoner, so not much chance to.
Fair enough.
Oh, Nightballs, I'm sorry that the fairy made you feel the need to take a shower.
I won't let you die. I'm with you.
Let's go do the combat system and show you the cool combat in this game.
I just hope our contact in the fort's okay.
Let's go see how similar or not similar this is to Persona.
Okay?
Yeah, let's fight our way up the castle. We can do it.
Actually...
I see.
This is...
Welcome to the most terrifying monster, the most villainous evil creature we could possibly run into. The height of abomination, the most terrifying thing in all of existence or imagination. The monstrous, terrifying form that is... a human. That's a human, that is.
Stand your ground! Charging! Pursue!
We have to help the survivors.
The fantastical, bigotry-free world you're imagining is a world inhabited by humans.
Hurry!
When we get to that creature that we saw there, spoilers, it's a boss fight, we'll fight it in a bit. I want to break down its design a bit because it's got a fascinating set of design elements. There are so many things you can read into that design element. Anyway, let's do some cool combat.
Got it? Take care of it, please. Things will be
So, you can overworld beat up the creatures to then start the battle with an extra turn of advantage. So we've got a free turn of advantage before this thing will actually attack us back. We have these crystals up the top that determine our number of actions in a turn. If an action is like a critical hit or hits a weakness, it only takes half a crystal, so you can get more action economy out of a turn. You can also... Okay, we can't do it yet, but you can... There's other mechanics, we'll get to those in a second. Also, here's that Esperanto we were talking about.
We're evenly matched. Guess we better stay on our toes.
I won't hold back! Burn! Through here?
Try hard!
Those aren't humans, those are witches from Madoka Magica. Who's to say those weren't humans?
Victory is ours.
I think that's all of...
Okay, yeah. So that's the gist of combat. We got some other stuff to unlock in a second, but yes, you can, in theory, completely defeat an enemy in the overworld without actually going into the turn-based battle system. If you can attack an enemy from behind, you can often completely stagger them in a single hit to get the extra round of turn-based combat stuff. Okay. Yeah, if we can sneak up from behind, it'll go into the stagger state in a single hit, and it'll go straight in with them stunned.
Let's go!
Not done yet.
Even easier than
Unscathed Triumph. I love this mechanic. Unscathed Triumph is if you do a battle and none of your party take any damage, you get bonus experience and bonus stats and bonus money. Night Paws the Wolf. Yes, it's Esperanto. So this is a game about overcoming oppression and the fact that, like, dismantling systems of discrimination and bigotry isn't nearly as easy in practice as you sort of imagine it will be. And as such, the battle music is being sung in Esperanto, a language that was sort of designed with the idea that it would be a universal second language that would help to break down bigotry by allowing the world to communicate, but didn't really work because there's so many things they didn't think about with the language in terms of, like, what component languages it was built out of and the realities of actually getting people to pick up and learn a second language. It's a language that tells of the pitfalls of thinking it's going to be really easy to do something big picture to fix bigotry and discrimination on, like, a macro scale, and then ultimately realizing it wasn't nearly as easy as you thought it was going to be to implement. That's what the game is about. The battle music's in Esperanto. Keski Honiorio, Chief Priest of the Myoji Temple. Yeah, no, it's a Buddhist monk priest guy that does the singing. Yeah, the subtext, like the textual justification for having all of the music be sung in Esperanto. Beautiful, right? Okay, so every time you level up, one of your stats will automatically go up by 1 point. It sort of goes down the list, so strength will level up, next level magic, next level endurance. But then you also get a point to spend how you like on your build, which I think is a cool system.
We made short work of
Yeah,
that.
the in-game, the names of towns are all in Esperanto as well, yeah. Right? the choices around incorporating Esperanto are one of my favorite silly little things about like this game's opening time, where it's just like someone in that, whoever in that boardroom had the thought, maybe we should get someone who knows Esperanto to do to sing the soundtrack. I hope they got a fucking bonus. I hope whoever that was got a little extra 20 quid in their pay packet, because they fucking deserved it. I've consulted on games and I don't think I've ever contributed anything as legitimately perfect to a game as whoever it was that suggested the song should be in Esperanto. That person should be credited for that alone. Like, I want to open the game's credits and see person who came up with doing the songs in Esperanto as a separate credit.
Hold on. You...
Perhaps you're searching for someone. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's right. Well, we can't really tell you. We got a mission. What? We're on a secret mission. Like, the whole point is that we don't tell anyone what we're doing.
Was that?
Hurry!
Yeah, let's get up there.
Let's hurry.
Oh no, I slightly mispressed that. Okay, they get the jump on me. Yeah.
Let's go.
So the enemy gets the starting turn, unfortunately. Oh yeah, there's a few variations of the battle music, but they all have some spirit in common with each other.
Let's keep this up.
Like, that man's just going and going and going. Have I played far into this off-stream? I've played about 40 hours off-stream. This is definitely not a game I'm going to play the whole way through on stream, but it's a game I wanted to do at least a stream of to try and sell you all on, like, the things I think are really interesting about it. Like, there's more stuff that, like, you gotta get considerably further in before the points where I'm like, I went from, like, this is really interesting and cool to, oh shit, this might be Game of the Year. Like, some of that's a bit further in, but I think early on you can see some of the stuff that's really interesting about it. Yeah, what do you want to know, Stroll? I have my doubts there could be survivors. It might be suicide to head up there, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's the noble thing to do. Can you spoiler-free say how far you are? I'm just gonna say about 40 hours. I think that's I think that's what I'm gonna say for now. To just to be careful, because I'm trying to sell people on trying this game, and I don't want to I'm having a very ADHD day, and I don't want to carelessly say a thing and then realize it's not as subtle as I think it is about where I'm at in the game. That makes sense? Okay, this noble couldn't live with himself if he didn't at least try to save the people up there. I take it you refuse to die until you found whoever you're searching for. Yeah, I'm pushing ahead. Yeah, I played a solid 7 hours in the demo. The demo is like 10%, like nearly 10% of the game, which is pretty cool. Right.
What do you think? Yep.
Go up the tower. Ooh, we are heading straight into that boss fight, aren't we?
Damn. Such tremendous power.
It's horrible. Can't believe what I'm seeing.
We can't let it get away with this. We have to hold it off somehow. Damned humans. It was all because of them.
We'll just have to make it work.
Okay, so let me talk about this Hieronymus Bosch nightmare of a creature. This boss fight is against a being whose entire design is... Okay, not his entire design, but a large element of his design is fruit that gods used as, like, temptation or were part of, like, the corruption of humanity myths in various origins. So, like, the obvious one is the apple. You've got the Garden of Eden. God forbid eating the apple. Eating the apple gave humanity the curse of knowledge. They suddenly understood they were naked. You got them kicked out the Garden of Eden. But you've also got Hades and Persephone, and I'm trying to make sure I've got the specifics of this right. I want to find a good summary of the Hades and Persephone one.
It's okay. We can do this.
Here we go. Where's the myth? Basically, she was tricked into eating pomegranate seeds, and that forced her to have to come back to the underworld over and over. It's again one of the woman is convinced to eat a fruit, and therefore her relationship with deity is forever changed. It is the folly of humanity that they cannot resist the fruit. And I fucking love that as, like, a pair of design elements to stick onto this thing with, like, bird wings on its head and dancing on knives. I don't know what other elements... I don't know how the rest of these elements tie into that. Right, let's... Mage Fire. Nope, that did basically nothing. Hey, Michael Muto. This fight is not looking good for us. It's not looking like we have a great chance of beating this boss.
I'm not going down like this.
I won't hold back.
Burn to earth.
Badly wounded. Can anyone heal him?
How is it this strong? The prince is my best friend. I need to save him. I can't die in a place like this. And yet...
You two run.
Oh, Stroll's already ready to throw his life away for us.
And the noble defends his people, no matter the cost.
I like Stroll. Stroll's lovely.
If you would repay me, then live.
Stroll can't take anymore. Someone heal him.
This is it.
Well, it was nice to get to know you, Stroll.
Please, say something.
Stroll! Don't be a fool. Just run before it.
No, I can't lose here. I need to save the prince.
Oh, anguished traveler.
Okay, now it's going to become
Thy fate
Persona.
is crown twined, thy soul bound for the throne. The future yet unknown dawns in this moment. Thy path may fork, but only one may be chosen. Confront the threat before thee, or die here in obscurity. Now choose.
This game tried so hard not to be Persona. But in the next 30 seconds, it's going to become
Heroism
Persona.
lies in the soul that stands firm against its fears.
Quick, take off your mask, or find a card, or shoot a gun in your head, or something. Right, Night Paws? This is not me unlocking my Persona, but it couldn't be further away. Oh, I'm sorry that my eating a chocolate bar sounded like they were in the game. Yeah, in this it's rip out your mechanical heart to unlock not your Persona, but your archetype. Because metaphor-y Fantazio. It's fantasy, a story. Stories have archetypes, you see. I can't let my friend die opens a chocolate bar. Yeah, I can see how that could be funny. Yeah, we have become a Warframe mech. Warframe is exactly the right way to describe these things. My archetype is Warframe mech. right? Isn't that just literally a Warframe mech?
What the heck is going on? Anyway,
Don't worry, I got cool new powers now.
did the trick.
Don't even need an igniter or nothing.
Are you okay? If we don't push back, we're dead.
Okay, we got to attack weak points.
Looks like it made some blade feet. We can target those.
Wind.
That's it.
Aha!
Freedom of a one.
Weak wings. Yeah, so because we attacked its weak point, we get a we only use half a turn point, so we can do a second attack in the same turn. So if we're going to do two things in a turn, what we want to do is go for the legs and see if they get a weak stat.
The freedom of a
So we get a
one.
second thing in the turn, and we do the heal on the second action rather than the first, because if we do it first, it will take up our whole action. So we can do it for a half action if we hit a weak first. Oh no! You're eating the forbidden fruit!
Wait, what? It's healing? Nice dodge. Not like they could get you with that. It's eating its own fruit to heal? We can't kill it fast enough. It's just gonna fix itself up no matter what we do. Ick.
I've got a plan though.
Can you knock those apples off?
Check the apple! Unfortunately not weak. Oh, I should attack the legs and then the apple, I see. I can get a weak in before I...
Vitus power. Wind.
So let's attack the legs. You get a free attack in there. Then attack the apple.
Tough one.
Didn't quite knock it off. Goofy.
We don't take out those apples, but you know, maybe there's something I can do. Hey, can you let me handle this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can do it for me. Please.
Now it can't heal itself anymore. Don't waste your chance. Get in there.
Aha, now I can just wind you.
I won't hold back. No.
Okay, do we just... Nah, regular men is not really going to do much.
Vitus power.
Oh yeah, okay, we're doing about 4 times more damage with the magic than we are with the melee, so we're good.
I won't hold back. Still here?
One more, we got you. Just gonna outpace your damage output at this point.
Not bad.
Gimres, I've yet to find anything in this game, 40 hours into my personal playthrough, that is Atlas does a weird, uncomfortable LGBT thing that I have to caveat when I recommend this game. It's been a long time since I've played an Atlas game where there hasn't been a point where I've gone, ooh, that was a bit homophobic or transphobic in a way where, like, it's not gonna, like, make me not enjoy the game, but I'm gonna have to warn queer people that I know, like, I think the game's great, but, like, be aware this bit's coming up. I've yet to find that anywhere in this game. If anyone is further in and has seen that happen, you know, feel free to speak up. It feels like this might be the first time Atlas in a while has not had a weird LGBT thing we have to apologize for later in one of their games. And I'm all the happier for it.
True power is born of the heart, a wish from which thy strength is drawn. Yet fear and anxiety always trail in such a wish's wake. Since time immemorial, those we call heroes have earned the title through this order. They pursued their wishes and boldly walked a path of virtue. What thou hast awakened is the true spirit of a hero. The power that lies dormant in all of us. The power to reforge the fear of the unknown into curiosity.
I must say, I'm so glad that the Atlas game that is about fighting against bigotry, discrimination, and weird prejudices against minorities, that this is the one that managed not to be weird about real-world minorities. We've had a real turning point this month. Bloober Team released a game that managed not to be shitty about mental health. Atlas released a game that managed not to be weirdly homophobic or transphobic for no reason, like 2/3 of the way in. These developers, they're learning. They're getting better.
If thou wouldst change the world by thine own hand, take this newfound power and venture forth. Thy journey shalt reveal thy soul's mission.
What was that voice? And you! What was that power you used? You had a metal heart, and your whole body was... it was crazy!
Hey Stroll, glad you're alive.
Look, that Stroll guy is still alive.
I became a Warframe mech for a bit.
I'll be damned. Someone actually survived.
Oh, this guy.
Grius! Oh, thank goodness you're alive!
Grius.
You made it.
He's our
Oh,
middle
I'm
man,
such a
the one I'm delivering the
Scottish
message
man.
to.
He's badly hurt. You, boy.
From up
lend me your
north.
shoulder. We'll need to carry him. The smell of blood will draw out the beasts. Let's not hang about. The lad's out cold, but he'll live. We should be fine if we take a moment's rest here.
Oh, you're a sight for sore eyes, Grius. Just wish it were under better circumstances.
We're both alive, and you can't ask for much better in these parts. Sorry I couldn't join you in the fray.
I love that he
So,
occasionally
this
has little
is our
fangs.
newcomer, eh? How'd this boy manage to command power like that?
He sounds like he smoked 60 a day and then tried to do a Billy Connolly impression. And I don't hate it.
It's like nothing I've ever seen. Do you know anything about it?
I might. For now, the mission comes first.
Ah, right. I'd better just get straight to the message. Grius, you have a new mission. Avenge the king. And kill Luis Guillaburn.
Well, good. It's about damn time.
I was about ready to go assassinate a political leader. Fuck
Every
yeah.
soldier knows it was nothing natural that killed the king. Damn that Luis. Couldn't stop at one royal, could he?
Wait, there's more. The prince is getting worse. We're running out of time. Here, look. I brought a treasure from the village. They called it a farsight mirror. You need to see the prince's condition.
Hey, iPoint. I'm doing good today. My week's been weird schedule-wise. I had a big freelance piece scheduled for this week, and then it got moved to a much worse week. But other than that, I'm doing alright. I worked out what my next, 3 or 4 weeks of accessibility episodes are going to be. Started editing this week's Control Alt Access. I'm having a good day today. I'm feeling good. Alright, how's the king doing? Here he is, the prince. Deep in slumber in the hidden village.
His Highness won't last much longer. Those thorns are thick enough to claim him.
Luis cast the curse, so killing him is the only way to lift it. If we wait any longer, they're just gonna crown a new king.
Who's this Luis? Tell me about this man who's definitely not an analog for any real-world political figures.
Who's Luis? Is that a real question?
Can I show the clock? Do you mean the alarmo?
15 years ago.
It's in the other room. It's in my bedroom.
But it wasn't his age that had people talking.
One sec.
It was his ruthless military genius.
Whoa.
Hero to some, monster to others.
So, the reason I don't have Alarmo in my office is because it's constantly motion tracking you. And it gets confused if you put it in a setting that isn't a bedroom. If it thinks you're in bed when you're like sat in a chair because you're in the motion sensor range, it starts spitting out stats like you spent 18 hours in bed today on the sleep tracker. It gets weird, which is a shame because I honestly kind of just want to use it as a desk clock. It's a pretty cute desk clock. The clock is weird. Alarmo is strange. It doesn't like that I share my bed with a wife. The fact that I'm married and there's 2 people in my bed confuses Alarmo no end. Oh, it also thinks the duvet's a person. It's, Alarmo is easily confused. About 50% of the time it understands I'm getting into bed and plays gentle music for me. I've yet to have a night where it didn't think I slept for 14 hours. Oh yeah, no, Alarmo doesn't know what marriage is. Nintendo created a motion-sensing alarm clock that doesn't know that sex exists. And that's kind of charming in its own way. Anyway, ruthless bastard of a man.
And a master of Magla arts. Some said it was only a matter of time before he made general. The youngest the nations had.
Until he attacked the prince.
That night, when the prince's quarters were breached, it was no ordinary mage who cast that fatal curse. It was Luis Guiabar.
It was this bastard that did it.
The son's death wasn't enough for him. Now he's got the father's blood on his hands. And if that king-slaying fiend ends up on the throne, we're all doomed.
Sometimes you look at a person and go, that person becoming...
More Luis supporters than I expected. How can they still trust
Yeah,
him?
sometimes a political figure is like, if that person got into power, it would literally be the end of everything. Like, we would never recover from this person getting into power. Sometimes what you need to do in that situation is go assassinate that political figure. That is not what I'm saying. That's what Metaphore Fantazio is arguing for here. It's what it's sort of suggesting. And I think it's very interesting that it suggests that.
That's a hell of a mission.
Oh, I accidentally skipped again. He's gonna go kill Luis. Does he get confused if you watch Netflix or Twitch in bed? So, I can tell you this. It assumes you're asleep. If you do that. So I sometimes go, like, lie in bed but don't go to sleep in an evening. I've got Dice Funk on a Thursday night starting at midnight. So at 9 or 10, I'll go for a couple of hours of maybe sleep, maybe just chilling in bed. Alarmo doesn't know what to make of the fact that I went to bed, got back up, and then went back to bed, like, hours later. It also doesn't know what to do when my wife comes to bed at, like, midnight, but I don't come to bed till, like, 3 AM when Dice Funk's done. It gets confused.
So that's your game, eh? Pretend to sleep, eavesdrop on the plan. You're a fool to give yourself a
Oh, the plan we skipped. The plan is go kill Luis.
I'm not going to run. Not from you, and not from a chance to do what's right.
Look, Grius, he saved our lives back there. And it sounds like we could use the help. Seems like kind of a waste to kill him. Especially if he's
Killing him would be less than productive.
Then answer me this. The boy's all but a stranger to you, yet you risk your life to save him. Why?
Because he's a decent chap.
Fight and die a noble, sir. To have done otherwise would betray my title, to say nothing of my heart.
I'm losing my edge. Make me regret this, and I will slay you where you stand.
You'll let him help us?
Right then. My life and sword are yours.
As far as the rest of the world's concerned.
Cool, you'd better get to unlocking your persona. Sorry, discovering your archetype real soon, buddy.
And you'll raise them at my command.
We have to.
Save the prince from death's curse.
Luis will also be at the royal funeral. If we're not back to the capital by then, we lose our chance. But no main roads. That'll mean checkpoints and questions. We'll cut through the abandoned mine up ahead to save us going the long way round. I'm counting on you.
Feels like the mission is finally starting.
Now we can do a little camp and all have a little cozy
You should
chit
finally be
chat
able
for
to
the
get some
night.
rest. This your first deployment, boy? Thank your lucky stars you survived a brush with a human.
What the hell was that? It was like no beast I've ever seen.
No one truly knows. They're protected by Magla, so even the sharpest steel does little good against them. They're no simple beast.
Yeah, and Competent Hero says, I like that this game hits home with the, hey, this guy is definitely evil and wants to fuck things up, but he was also really good for the morale of the city, part of politics. It actually gives a reason for the obviously evil man to be in charge of things in the first place. Uninformed people want him there, it makes the politics less one note. Yes, that's the thing. Luis, in this he is a populist. Like, he is very skilled in terms of military tactics, but he is very good at telling people what they want to hear to make them feel better about themselves. He's very good at spinning things and making it seem like everything is better because he's fixed it. And it's like, yeah, he might be cartoonishly evil, but he's cartoonishly evil behind the scenes, and in front of the public, he tells them what they want to hear so they feel better. Like, morale is great under him for the people that he considers, you know, his people and not his enemies.
All we do know is with every passing year, more of their kind tear travelers apart. That was why I was first sent undercover here, investigating.
And? Did you learn anything?
Simmer down, boy. There wasn't a damn thing to be found on those monsters. Well, the moon's still low.
Yeah, Luis is definitely his own character outside of, like, he's not like a one-to-one, definitely this is an analogue of blank, but he fits a set of stereotypes that it's not hard to find political figures that, like, you can draw analogues to. But his characterization isn't beholden to trying to be an analogue for a specific single individual.
I want to hear about the mission.
With numbers like this, a head-on assault would be suicide. Quick, covert assassinations are best bet. Kingslayer or no, Luis has a lot of public favour behind him.
Gimras? Yes, they did. The big, scary, like, terrifying abominations, the most terrifyingly violent, vicious creatures you could encounter are called humans. This is a world in which the main character has a storybook about a world that looks a hell of a lot like our human world. A utopia where, you know, there's not people with horns or with pointy ears. We're all just one species of people, and as such, there's no bigotry and no discrimination. Anyway, let's fight against these terrifying monsters of violence and uncaring attitude that are, quote-unquote, humans. It feels like, mayhaps, at some point they're going to have to face the reality that the utopian fantasy world they're imagining is full of people who are ultimately no less terrifying than the people in this world. Might be a metaphor you could imagine. Right, like, I don't know how some of, like, I don't know how some of these things are gonna play out, but I feel like some of these are some pretty clear analogues you could draw.
To the people, he's the only man with the wit and war power to bring down humans. The military seems powerless to stop them, so he plays saviour. The man's practically a monster himself. By your age, he was not only a master tactician, but damn near an archmage.
This is the other thing. Luis is using humans as the big, terrifying, scary monster that you should all fear, and that you need to elect me to save you from all those scary humans out there. Like, it's another thing you could look at and go, is that an intended parallel of the fear-mongering populist leader is going, those humans over there are the reason everything's bad and you should be terrified of them. Only I can protect you from those scary humans, not like us. You know, the real people, like those humans over there are big and scary and we need to go kill them with a war.
And
naming them humans leads to a lot of weird little interesting ways you can read things.
I won't abide him surviving the ceremony. He will die by my hand.
Also, I did not know for the longest time. I got way too far into this game before learning that when you're at campsites, where am I going to find the first one here? There's little golden bugs you can collect at the campsites. I didn't work this out straight away. It's worth finding these gold beetles.
Oh.
Okay. Is that power some sort of magic? No, probably not. If only I had that kind of power. Been a long day. Done a great job delivering the message.
Huh? Indeed.
I was a mercenary. His Majesty gave me the honour of being His Highness the Prince's tutor in swordplay. I was there the night of the attack. Right.
Well...
Let's get some rest. Yeah, Rock Smasher says, honestly, I'm surprised how long they allowed the demo for this to be. For anyone unaware, the demo's like...
Can't sleep?
Potentially like 7 hours long.
I'm not surprised after what we just went through.
There's a whole linear section, and then you get like 3 days of exploring the open world segment. If you use those 3 days to go explore one of the 2 optional dungeons you can go explore, you can easily get 6 or 7, maybe more hours out of the demo. Like maybe more if you do like optional dungeon followed by story dungeon in your 3 days of exploring. Like, you can play like 10% of this game on a free demo, and that is pretty wild for an RPG of this size. It's definitely enough to go, I know if I'm going to enjoy this and to be invested in seeing the plot continue. Exactly, it does show a real degree of confidence in what you've shipped.
Still, you've got to keep yourself rested to be at your best.
I'm not tired.
I know, I will.
I wanted to tell you, though. When the human attacked, I heard a strange voice. It told me my duty would be to guide you. What do you think it meant? I mean, I haven't exactly been much of a guide so far. All I told you was that we had to deliver our message, and that almost got you killed. I never expected it would be this dangerous, and it feels kind of like it's my fault.
It's kind of your fault. No, I don't mind a little danger.
I don't really mind.
That's nice of you to say. Look.
Oh, Nightpaws, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Thank you for sneaking into Bezos' home and saying, quick, a metaphor for fantasy. And while he was distracted stealing some pennies.
You've got something special, you know. I don't know what it is just yet, but I believe in you. Oh, hey, you know what insomnia is good for? Catching up on reading.
Let's read more about this wonderful world without any bigotry in it.
Anything like the world in your novel. It's just war after war here, with Magla arts fueling the flames. But it's a nice fantasy. Enjoy it while you can.
Living in our world, what a nice fantasy.
Good night.
I'm having one of those dreams.
Well, hello.
Well, hello.
Nice to meet you. I've been waiting. And now you've acquired a most interesting power.
Lovely to meet you, bondage elf. Yes, there is a cat.
You truly are an intriguing one.
You're not an elf, you don't have the pointy ears, but...
Fascinating. In the moments where your heart is most gripped by the book, I can reach out to you. My name is Moore, and I am the humble...
You can see why I wanted to call him bondage elf, right?
Now in my study.
In spirit.
Quite something, isn't it? A hall of wisdom, purpose-built for the research of certain powers. I call it academia.
My power academia?
Is most
my archetype academia?
So fit to lock me in this place. It has me a bit addled, honestly. I no longer remember where in the kingdom my study actually lies.
The idea of a leather poncho is quite a look.
Until you appeared. And now, by whatever strange forces are afoot, I can speak directly to your mind. So, what would you say to an alliance?
I don't really have any choice. You pulled me out of my dream and into your academia.
What kind of...
Okay, fine, tell me.
There must be more I wish to know. For instance, the nature of this fascinating power you've awakened to. I believe you have found a way to wield true magic. You need no petty conduit of mortal make. You can even change your appearance using the raw magma within. It is above all a mystic, long-hidden art. Now the stuff of legend. What I have come to call archetypes. Archetypes? A spirit of heroic virtue. A transformative power that manifests only in those who embody the heroes and kings of old in some core aspect. Heroes of antiquity are often depicted as near mythic figures, with forms transcending the mortal. These accounts are no mere allegory, but
they're not an allegory,
However,
are they a metaphor,
none of
perhaps?
my records
The
describe
Fantazio.
anyone wielding such power as freely as you. Perhaps you are meant for not just proficiency, but master. In their truest form, archetypes represent the power of a true hero. One who can drive away calamity and evil in this world. Indulge me this request, and I believe my dream may yet be possible. Together, we can restore the kingdom's ideals. I shall gladly provide you knowledge and assistance to master your newfound power.
Will you accept this new arcana?
Will you
Sorry,
take my hand in
archetype.
friendship?
Arcana type.
Okay.
New bond formed. I awakened the arcana of Bondage Elf.
The scholar in search of utopia. More. Within him dwells the virtue of
Oh,
the
I've got too
seeker.
much stuff I want to play in the coming months still. I need to check out that Hades 2 update. Dragon Age is about to come out. Too much stuff.
Now let's see what manner of story I weave.
We can now become the Seeker. Hooray, this is our first follower. We find more of them. They unlock abilities and stuff, and a whole upgrade tree.
We'll meet again, I'm sure. Here's to our joined path, and the thrills that yet lie ahead.
Gosh, yeah, when is Indiana Jones coming out on Xbox?
The royal
How far is that
funeral
off?
draws ever closer. 5 days.
Is it
remain.
like December? December 9th. That is soon.
Already then? From here on, we travel in secret. If we're to get back into the capital, we'll have to do it undetected, so we'll cut through the forest, find the abandoned mine shaft...
Yeah, there's a Bethesda first-person Indiana Jones game.
That way
Indiana
they'll
Jones and
never
the
see us
Great
coming, huh?
Circle, I think it's
Lad, you'll
called.
be our vanguard. It'll be a trial by fire, but the sooner you get used to that power, the better.
Speaking of,
Yeah,
you were
Wolfenstein devs,
talking
yeah.
like you know something about it.
Not much. Just what I've picked up from missions in the early days. I've only heard it's a power found in those who walk a righteous path. Sounded like superstition to me, but everything's always clearer on the battlefield.
Machine games,
Once
yes.
I saw it in action, I could tell. it
I'm
was no fear.
very
Never
curious
thought it'd
about
come
that
back to
Indiana
haunt me.
Jones game.
Despite all my
And
training
we've
and
definitely not got
research,
that long to wait to
I
find
never
out
managed to master it
what the
myself.
deal is with it.
Huh. It really is something special, then.
Don't forget, one wrong move and I'll cut you down.
I'm aware.
I'm watching.
Yes, I get it.
Right. Let's...
Yeah, let's get doing some fighting. Let's get doing a little bit of combat.
That being the case,
All right.
This...
Don't let your guard down. Good.
The Nord Mines.
The
Located
the
northwest
trailers have
Grand
all
Track.
been
It
puncher
is
Nazi
resource-rich
vibes,
with maglet
like that,
reserves.
genre of Indiana Jones, so I'm curious. We'll see.
Excavation, but the Sanctus Church's sudden proclamation of closure stopped work in its tracks. Exiting the forest, the party continues along the wooded road leading to the derelict mine.
Huh?
What's the
happened?
matter?
No.
Don't let your guard down.
Rami is now putting me on that starter pack of people to follow on Blue Sky has really caused a bunch of people to start following me on Blue Sky real quickly.
No. Let's go.
Pushing forward.
Right, one brief moment. Too many notifications are happening. I'm suddenly just trying to make sure that everything is under control. I'm having that moment where I have too many notifications to things and I'm like, is this just normal and regular and not something has happened and I need to pay attention to why there's suddenly notifications everywhere? I think it's fine. I think we're fine. Sorry for the wait while I briefly make sure that my internet isn't exploding. It's never... Okay, it's always mildly concerning to see, like, 400 notifications in a tab. I'm like, what did I do? But I think it's fine. Okay, all good. Cool, I'm back. Hello. There we go. Yes. All of the artists in the video game industry, like, people I need to have work connections with suddenly all made the exodus to Blue Sky at the same time. And I'm like, I'm getting a number of notifications that might just be a lot of the industry is moving and reconnecting with where I'm at now. Or it might be, I don't know, the Switch 2 got announced and I am revealing it but wasn't told in advance. Like, shit like that, I start being like, let's just check everything's fine. Right. Let's go beat some shit up. I don't know how much longer we're gonna go for tonight. We'll do a little more of this. Okay, packs of beasts. We can probably just melee attack them without having to actually go into turn-based battles. So we can see the danger level by pressing L2.
Right there.
And this is a danger level that we can probably just melee attack for some quick experience. Oh, I need to do my German today still. We might need to have another segment of Laura Learns German on stream. Are people up for Let's Learn German with Laura? Because I think it's that time. It might be that time of stream.
Hold on. Got it?
Okay. Let's hit pause when it allows us. Let's learn some German. How am I doing German? I'm using one of the popular language learning apps.
Kaffee.
Cafe is coffee.
Vater.
Father.
Bruder.
Brother.
Hallo.
Hello. 9 is no.
E.
E. Net is nice.
Nett. Mein Mann.
My husband. My man, my husband.
Mein Bruder und mein Mann. Mein.
Mein Bruder and my man. My brother and my husband. Welcome, Raiders! Hi, everyone. We're playing Metaphor Fantazio, except at this moment we're not. We're learning German for like 3 minutes. I'm like 50 days into learning German.
Oh, der Bär ist schön.
Oh, der Bär.
Bär.
Ist
schön.
Oh, the bear is beautiful? Yes.
Mein Mann und meine Mutter.
My man and my mother.
Eine.
My man and meine Mutter. Oh.
Ja oder nein? Ja oder nein?
Yes or no? Sorry, I put the wrong grammar, gendered grammar. Yes. I know it logically, but I'm on stream and stream attacks is diverting my attention. My sister is nice. Meine Schwester ist nett.
Oh, mein Hund ist klug.
Oh, my dog is my dog is klug. Smart? Oh, my dog is smart? Yes.
Meine Frau, meine Tochter.
Meine Tochter. My wife, my daughter. Du bist sehr groß. You are very tall. Du bist sehr groß.
Nein, danke.
Nein. Danke. No, thank you. Du bist... Oh, I know this one. Du bist meine Frau. You are my wife. I point at my wife and say this frequently. Meine... M-E-I-N-E. Meine Frau.
Meine Tochter ist sehr klug.
Meine Tochter, my daughter, ist sehr klug, is very smart. My daughter is very smart? Yes. My brother is very tall. Mein Bruder ist sehr groß. There we go. 51 days. I practiced my German, and the main thing I remember how to say is I point at my wife and say "Du bist meine Frau." Right, where were we? We were fighting a crow.
This battle's out. Let's take them all out.
Oh yeah, if you don't like how a battle's going, you can restart the battle from the beginning, which I think is a really nice quality of life option.
There's no way I'm stopping here.
I think we got them all. We'll be safe for a while.
Oh yes, I'm very much of the belief of, like, I'm not going to pressure myself to do more language learning than I can reliably commit to.
Let's go.
If I am confident I can commit to, like, 3 minutes a day, I'll do my 3 minutes a day. And I'll get there.
I think I'm getting used to this.
And, you know, maybe all I come away from a day with is the knowledge of how to say "du bist meine Frau," but really, do I need to know how to say anything else in German other than "du bist meine Frau"? The most important German phrase.
There they are. This is our chance. This could be our chance. Win! Stay sharp.
Take this! You'll start.
Taste steel!
There's
no way
unscathed victory.
Hopefully that's the last of them for a while.
Yeah, it's slowly. The German is slowly sticking in my head.
Right there.
I know my basic descriptor words. I recognize. I can say that someone is nice or tall or smart. I say my pleases and thank yous and order tea and coffee. I know a lot of the family descriptors. I can say you are my mother, you are my wife, you are my brother, my sister. I can say these things. I'm going to ignore you, shopkeep.
There they are.
I have no interest in you today. I have combat to win. Honestly, I'm finding German easier to learn than I've found other languages. It's sticking in my head better.
Strive for greater heights.
Looks like it's
I
not
see the
safe.
enemy. There they are. Okay, this could be all we've got.
There's a lot of German words where I look at them and go, there's an English word that means basically the same thing that this looks a lot like. And that's helpful.
Is that easy, eh?
Hey, great job. Hey,
I see the enemy. We have the edge.
Yeah, this is where we just start zoning out to stylish, pretty fast-paced anime JRPG combat. But it's quick and snappy, and you don't have to do too much of it like actually in the turn-based battle system, and
Don't get too relaxed.
it keeps its pace up well. Oh, okay, you dive-bombed me, that's fine. Yeah, no, German and English share so much of a linguistic root that it's really not that hard to cross-pollinate those languages.
Come forth, royal soul.
Can't linger here. Let's move.
Like, when I can logic things in my head as like, ah yes, I flew from the flu carbon. You know, there's little things like that that just get certain words to stick in my head. And I don't know whether they actually share a linguistic root, but even if they don't, the coincidental language patterns help.
Even easier than expected. Hopefully that's the last of them for a while. Hold on.
got a moment?
Oh, soldiers have come chasing us, despite the fact that they should have assumed we were dead.
I've never fought soldiers
before. Fight the cops! ACAB, do it! Take these military bastards down.
Never seen anything like it. That's not an igniter. Get ready.
Wo est is where is.
Blast.
Okay, yes, we can do guard actions.
Take this.
Wo est.
Let's do this. Damn you.
Wo est meine Frau would be where is my wife? Oh yeah, we can also move between the front and back lines of combat. Is a thing we have now, so I can head to the back line to avoid taking melee damage. I'm learning German because my wife is also learning German, but also because I go to Germany at least once a year for like Gamescom or for something else work related. It would be good to know more basic German for when I travel to Germany.
I think something's coming!
I travel to Germany frequently enough that it would be useful to have a bit of German in the back pocket. I literally was in Germany when I started doing the app to learn German.
No.
Yes, how could the military have already mobilized a pursuit?
Let's hurry.
All right.
Okay, it's a creepy abandoned mine. The Crown Theocracy ordered it so.
Hey. Indeed.
Okay, make your preparations and then head in. I think this is where I'm going to leave it for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I hope you've enjoyed this. I don't know if it's going to be a one-off Metaphor Fantazio stream. Maybe we do one more stream of this on Wednesday. And then Friday and Monday, like the two streams afterwards, we do maybe a bit of Silent Hill 2. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But if people have been digging this, maybe we do another stream of this on Wednesday. I've got a little bit of work stuff I've got to do tonight, so I'm gonna call the stream a little early. But I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I will be back with another stream Wednesday and Friday at a similar time of day. Have a good day. It's been lovely to have you all. Bye.